Hello and welcome to Hyperdog Digital. This is Scott, and today we're going to take a look at this brand new smartwatch here, fitness band, whatever you want to call it. This is the AmazFit X, and actually we're just going to do an unboxing for this right now. I haven't even, obviously it's still in the plastic, I just got it today, so we're going to unbox it, take a look at it, and then we'll give you a review on it a little bit later. So here it is right here. It's got this nice little round packaging, and we'll go ahead and see if we can figure out how to get this off of here. There's one, two, and holy moly, there you go, three. Alright, there's plastic. There we go. And there's the top. And let's see how we get this off here. So here it is right here. And this is a curved screen smartwatch. So again, this is the AmazFit X. It's got, let's go through just a few of the key features that it gets out while I'm trying to take all this plastic and stuff off of here so that you can actually see it and see if we can power it on at all. But it's got a 2.07 inch molded display, BioTracker PPG sensor, so it can give you the 24/7 heart rate, 5 ATM water resistance, sleep tracking, blood oxygen measurement, full metal unibody, 7-day battery life, and multi-sports mode. Those are the key features that it shows on the website. I'm sorry it's taking me so long to get this off here. I'm trying to multitask while I'm unpacking it. There we go. So there's the watch right there. It's a very, very soft silicone kind of band, which I like a lot. I'm not sure, I don't see any power buttons or anything like that on there. It does have quite a curve to it. I've got kind of a big wrist, so that should fit alright. Alright, well, let's go ahead and take a look and see what else is in the package here. You have another band. Look at that, very nice. Looks like it is just this one side that comes off, because you can see the other side here has a screw, so that's not going to come off very easily. Oops, excuse me there, drop test on that. There's a little button down here on the band on this side, so it just pops right off, and then you can just click it back on there. Interesting. But this, I'm guessing, is a little bit smaller. Yeah, it's a smaller band, so it's good. It gives you two different sizes. And here's your instructions, and then the charger is right in here. Let's see. Rather interesting. I don't know if it's meant to stay on here. I'd assume not. But here's how you charge it. Just snaps right on there. Magnetic, of course. I'm not a huge fan of pogo pins. I prefer it to be wireless. So we'll see how well that holds up over time. Alright, so I put the charger on so we can actually see the watch light up here. But these little three dots here on the side, there's actually a force button, so I'm guessing that is the only real button you actually have. Well, look at that. You do have a little bit of the watch there. It is a touch. Looks kind of neat, I think, with that screen. So we're going to go ahead and charge this up, and then we're going to play with it a little bit and give you a review. So stand by. Alright, so we've had some time to actually use this AmazFit X for a little over a week now, and as you can see here, here's the screen. I don't know if we really got a very good look at the screen last time, but it does fit very well on my wrist. I was a little worried that it because of the curve and how, you know, my wrist is kind of big, that it wouldn't fit very well, or it would be kind of a little tight or something like that, but it actually fits very well. The strap on here is a little different, at least for me anyways, in that this end will actually slip down underneath instead of being up here. I'm trying to keep that in view there, which is a little bit different for me. I'm not sure. I'm sure there's probably other watch bands that are out there like this. It's probably nothing new, but for me, this is the first one I've ever used like this, and I wasn't sure that I was going to like that much, but it actually hasn't bothered me at all. I haven't really noticed a difference, except for the fact that I'm not catching this part on anything like I would normally do, or it's not flopping around like this as it would normally do with most watches that I have. So for that, I like it a lot. I'm going to go ahead and take it off just so that I can show it a little bit better as I'm talking about it. And you can see that this is the curve that it's got here. So this is a hard plastic. This doesn't move at all. So it's going to have to fit on your wrist just like that. You can see on the bottom it's got the heart rate sensor and everything like this. And the screen is fairly large. I mean, it's not very wide, but it is definitely got a lot of space to it as far as going all the way up and down the watch here. And the 3 buttons, if you can barely see it there on the side, that is an actual button for doing a kind of two-hand touch kind of deal, or two-hand, I guess they call it a squeeze or a pinch, I guess is what they call it. And it's kind of a home button. Doesn't seem to really always work quite right, but that may be something I don't have quite set up in settings perfectly, because there is a couple of settings based on that. But I really like the different watch faces that it gives, and how it arranges the data that's on here and gives you different options to look at through here. So there's definitely a lot of real estate, a lot of different things here. This is definitely one of my favorites. It gives you some weather, your activity goals, it'll give you your heart rate, and you can change a little bit of this information if you want to by going into this settings here, and you can add different stuff or remove different items that you might want to show on this screen as well. And of course it'll scroll and show you the different things that you want to see. Just to reiterate some of the stuff that we looked at when I first unpacked it, this band does not come off, this part of it here. This one does, and you can simply push a button and pull that off. So it comes off real easy, but of course that means you're not going to be able to just go out and buy a different watch band for it. You have to use one of these watch bands that comes with it. And it does have this one here, and then inside there's another one that's a little bit smaller if you have a little bit smaller wrist. So really it worked very well for me. There are a few things I didn't like that I am going to go ahead and talk about right now. For one thing, I think they need to work a little bit on the sensitivity of the screen. Of course, right now it seems to be working just great, but a lot of times it doesn't always seem to. And see, there you can see it took me a few times to get it to go where I want it to go. It doesn't always seem like the sensitivity of the gestures really works perfectly. It seems like there's You know, sometimes it works flawlessly like it seems to be doing here. Other times I just can't get it to switch back to home, or I can't get it to do anything that I want it to do. It takes a little bit of playing around to get just the right gestures, and even then I'm not too sure that I'm doing it quite right. The other thing I don't like is with the watch faces. Hopefully this is something that they're going to change later on. It seems like something that would probably be pretty easy to change. But like, for instance, you take this watch face here. This is probably one of my favorite ones. I like the information that it displays, but it's in military time, or the 24-hour time. You can't change that. You can't change any of the other settings down here. So if, for say, you didn't want this one right here, which is telling you how many times you're standing up during the day, so you're not always sitting down. I'm not sure I really care about that. So I want to take that off and put something else on there. You can't modify it, you can't change it, at least not that I've found. So there's no way to put different information on some of these watch faces. That kind of drives me nuts, because it seems like every watch face that I find has some of the right information I want, but not all of it. So you kind of have to pick and choose on one that has the best to what you want, and live with the parts of it that you don't like. The other thing is that it can be a little bit hard to see in sunlight. It's not particularly the brightest screen, and you know, most of these types of screens, these watch faces, you're always going to have a little bit of problem seeing them in direct sunlight. This one's particularly hard to see in direct sunlight, so keep that in mind as well. Other than that, I really liked this watch. I was actually surprised at how much I did like it. It provides a lot of good information, and the screen is really big, and it displays the information in very unique ways sometimes, so that it uses this large screen in a very good way. It just uses that real estate very well, I guess is what I'm trying to say. The battery life on it was phenomenal. It gave me a little over 5 days worth on a full charge, and that's just average use. I wasn't really doing anything crazy with it. I was just using it for working out and everything like that. Just everyday daily stuff. Waterproof is, I'm in Nebraska right now, so the weather's going up and down, so I haven't had a chance to jump in a pool with it or anything like that, but I've washed dishes with it. I've taken a shower and left it on. I've washed given the kids baths a couple of times, so it's gotten plenty wet. It's been plenty submerged underwater for, with soap or whatever, and it has worked perfectly fine. I haven't had any problems with it, and hasn't freaked out, hasn't done anything weird, hasn't shut off. So that, waterproof wise, it's worked great. The battery life was great. Like I said, I got about 5 days worth out of it before I had to charge it. It feels really good. I don't have any problems. I'm usually not the kind of guy that likes to have a watch really tight on my wrist, but for a lot of these fitness bands, you really want to have it at least somewhat close to your wrist, somewhat tight, so that it's not moving around, so that it gets accurate readings. And the band is very comfortable. I didn't have any problems with it having set a little tighter than I'm used to. I was surprised at how well it actually fit my wrist. It looks good. It's taken a pretty good beating, getting hit on walls, getting beat up by my kids. They wrestle with me a lot, so it definitely gets beat up as far as that goes. It definitely shows up fine when you turn your wrist, so as far as that goes, it's no problem. And what we're going to take a look at next, the software, is definitely probably my favorite part of this watch. The software is really good. I like the app that it comes with. Is the Zepp app. It used to be called AmazFit, and they just recently changed it to Zepp. It's got a lot of great information to it. It shows it very well. It's got a lot of nice, pretty graphs and pictures, and it just gives you good information and shows it in a really good way. It's got a lot of configuration options. I wish there was a bit more as far as the watch face goes and stuff like that, but other than that, I absolutely loved it. So let's go ahead at this point and take a look at the software and see what I'm talking about. Okay, so as you can see right here, this is the ZEP application. This is the main dashboard. This is what you see when you first come into it. And you can see right off the bat, it gives you some really neat information. It gives you your steps up here at the top, calories, and your sleep hours. You get your heart rate here, your stress level, your sleep score, PAI, which I believe is personal athletic something. It's supposed to be an average of all your sleep and your exercise and your heart rate and all that stuff put together, and it gives you some kind of score. Haven't really looked into it too much. It's not something that I was worried about, but it is something you can certainly look at if you want to. It has a goal tracker, and then it has some other items here that you can scroll through here to allow you to update some of these quickly. You have, of course, different things in here like your chest circumference, your arm circumference, legs, your weight, muscle mass, all this kind of stuff that you can manually update, or if you have some other item that may somehow tie into this, it can be uploaded into this as well. And just some other information here, so you can go and read some different stuff if you wanted to. But let's go back up and take a look at some of these. You can actually click on these things and they will give you more detailed information. So in this case, it's showing you the steps and the times throughout the day that you've taken the steps, the distance you've run, the activities that you've done, so on and so forth. So a lot of really good information here. There's a history button here, so you can go through and you can look at the different days, and it gives you specific information for those specific days. We can go back, and again, same thing for calories. Heart rate gives you a nice graph that you can look at, and you can look at for different days, and it gives you your heart rate zone, how long you're in aerobic or you're in relaxed, and all this kind of stuff, your minimum, maximum heart rate. Really good information. I think it's definitely information that I wanted. Your stress level, again, you can really dig into a lot of these things, and it gives you a lot of really good information. Sleep score, we'll go back to a day where it actually has some of this when I had it on. So you can see here, it gives you some good information here: deep sleep, light sleep, REM, when you're awake. I don't know how accurate this is. I don't think it's super accurate, because some of this just seems a little off to me as far as the times that I was sleeping and awake and these kind of things. But at least it gives you some information, and I'm sure you can probably tweak it a little bit as far as the times when you're supposed to be sleeping and whatnot, and get some better information on there. And all of these things have the areas that you can dig into and give you more information, look at different days and all this kind of stuff. So it's really good. It's got a lot of good information into it. If you hit this button up here all the way at the top, then it shows you just some other information that you can look at if you don't see what you want on the main screen. So you can go in here. Now these things, obviously I don't have any data in, but you can see, you can go through all this stuff and you can enter data, or you can just look and see what you've put in there, or what is currently in there, I'm sorry. If you hit the plus up here, it allows you to pair another device. And as you can see, there's a lot of different things in here. Smart shoes, I've never even known that they had smart shoes, so that's pretty interesting. I do not have any of those though. But so that's pretty much it for the dashboard. Let's go over to the next section down here on the bottom, which is Enjoy. And this gives you just some different options for setting some of the settings within the application. Of course, you can set an alarm clock, you can share with relatives and friends, you can find your device, you can set target settings, change the watch face, all these sorts of things. We'll move on to Profile, and Profile is basically where it shows your device, your user information, gives your goals, your records, accounts. So just a few other settings if you wanted to dig in and change some different stuff in here. Going into clicking on the actual device itself brings you in here to some more different settings, watch face settings, calls if you want to set up so that it announces incoming calls, app alerts, and just a whole bunch of other settings in here. So it's quite customizable. There are a few things that I'm still having problems with. I don't, as far as applications go, and here in App Alerts is where I should be able to add Google Messages, but it does not show up here in the apps. So when I get a text message, unfortunately, at the moment, I do not get that information showing up. Let's see if it shows up yet. Nope, not there yet. So there are a few things that do need some improvement or some enhancement. But for the most part, the software is really good. It's probably the best software that I have used for a fitness band that isn't, something super top of the line, like a Fitbit or something like that. And even so, I think this stuff really is right up there with those top of the line apps. There's just a lot of good information. It's very granular. It allows you to look back on lots of different settings and lots of different days and through weeks and years and all that kind of stuff. It just gives you a lot of good information. As far as I can tell, it's fairly accurate. Definitely the steps are accurate, heart rate is accurate. I don't know how accurate stress would be. The sleep, I think, is off and on. As you can see on some of these, there's no sleep data, and I clearly know I slept yesterday. So sometimes it doesn't seem to pick up that, so I don't put a lot of stock into the sleep information quite yet. I haven't played with it a ton to see if maybe there's settings that I haven't configured properly yet, but as of right now, looks like that probably is not the most accurate, but still some interesting information. So that's the application. I think it's really good for what it does provide. I'm fairly happy with it. So let's go ahead and get back to the actual device. Okay, so there you go. That is the AmazFit X curved screen fitness band, smartwatch, whatever you want to call it. Just for my conclusions, I really liked this smartwatch. I really like this fitness band. It shows. I love the way it shows the information. It's got a nice big screen. It's not very wide, but it shows the information all across the screen. It displays it in a nice, unique way that still gives you some good information, but doesn't cramp everything in and doesn't really hide everything or anything like that. The software is amazing. It fits very well. I love the band itself. It's very comfortable. It seems very accurate as far as the information goes that I'm getting. So the only couple of things I really had a problem with was a little bit of sensitivity as far as the screen goes. Sometimes it just doesn't seem like it does what it's supposed to do or catches my movements. And the watch faces not being able to be configured the way I want it to be configured. And then of course the other thing was that it didn't seem like I could get some of the apps that I wanted to show up on here as far as notifications, specifically the Google Messages app. That was the one that I had a problem with, that I wasn't able to get to show up. All of these seem like issues that could very easily be solved in a firmware update or something later on to update to the software that would allow that to be fixed. So I'm not terribly concerned about any of those issues, and I have high hopes for this moving forward. I really think that there's a lot of potential and that it has an opportunity to be a really, really good device. Hopefully this video was helpful to you, and if you have any questions, be sure to let me know down in the comments, and we'll see you again next time on HyperDog Digital. Thanks. Hey, this is Scott for HyperDog Digital. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos and reviews, be sure to check us out at hyperdogdigital.com. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you know when we put up new content. If there's something you'd like us to review, or you have a product you want to send us for a review, feel free to send us an email at reviews@hyperdogdigital.com. We're also looking for sponsors right now, so if you are interested in being a sponsor for our channel, contact us at sponsor@hyperdogdigital.com. All of our social media links and emails are in the description. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you next time.